This dude said, there's a moment when every boy realizes no one's coming to save him. And that's when he becomes a man. And some boys never get there and stay children forever. That guy was you that said that. And it's important when we step out of this. Like, this stuff matters because no one's effing coming to save you. No one's going to make you better at your business. No one is going to get you to be a better persuader of people or framer of people other than you.
If you pan it down here, you see it's about 3 o'clock in the morning and there's not a car or a person in sight. If you pan over here, it's the same thing. Not a car or a person in sight. There's not a that's up. There's not a car, there's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday, hate it's a Monday. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting the fuck after it every daggone day.
It's time to wake up. Wake the up, bro. Enough with the bullshit, enough with the excuses, enough with the nonsense, enough with being in a situation where you're always complaining, where you're always pointing fingers. Point the fingers at yourself. The life that you have is the life that you chose. If you don't like the life that you have, it's your damn fault, dude. Change. Make different decisions. Hang out with different people. Instill some discipline, some habits. Win.
You see this guy here staring back at you? Yeah. That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life.
Not everything that's happened to you in your life is your fault, but whatever it is that you have, it is your responsibility to work through. Will Smith also said this, right? Where it's like, it's not my fault that my father is an alcoholic, but it's my responsibility to do with it because it's a reality that I have, and I have to work through those things. And so for me, it was like, it rang really true where I was like, okay, it's right. And if my life is going to change, I have to be the person to change it.
Life isn't fair at all. At all. So what are you gonna do about it? I knew that no one was coming back to help me. No one's gonna miracle me to be somebody special. Everybody that called me nigger, my dad, my mom, all my situations were on me now. It's solely on me. So I had to start developing an indestructible mental toolbox. So I sat there on that couch and I realized, man, I am a piece of shit. And even though the world helped me get here, my false reality helped me even more. And listening to somebody else's dialogue.
What the hell were you all waiting for to start attacking life? You waiting for the stars to align? Back when I was growing up, the song came out. All I need is a miracle. Well, guess what? That miracle ain't coming. There is no perfect time to start. You gotta start now with changing your life. We're all being tested in life. And guess what? This is one test you can't cheat on.
And so besides the rules that you believe other people have on your life that you think you're breaking, that is all made up because they don't really care that much, because no one really cares that much about anyone besides themselves. It's all make-believe. And I think that when you get as specific as humanly possible, but like, oh, I don't want to post this content. What? Because you're afraid that some unnamed account or some named account will write words on a screen that you'll read that will make your feelings go away. Like that is what will stop you from achieving your goal. Having a stranger tell you to fuck off because you reached out is the reason.
Here's the truth. One decision can separate who you were from who you're becoming. One decision can end an old chapter and begin a better one. One decision can change your confidence forever. And one decision can rewrite your entire story. All it takes is one decision.
People are looking for that pat on the back. Where is it? Oh, I don't need it. Because what I've done is in the unseen work, I built Frankenstein. So whenever shit gets nasty, David Goggins goes, you had nobody anyway. So see how I'm talking myself right now? That's me. That shit fires me the fuck up. That shit makes me fucking nuts. You had nobody anyway, motherfucker. Look around you. There was no team. It was you. There was no weight loss program or mom and dad waking you up saying you can do it, you can be better, trying to build belief. You built belief when you had nothing.
So when you understand that everything is self-imposed, then you're like, okay, I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed on my responsibilities. I'm going to be more careful about the decisions and the commitments that I make because I understand that there's long-term consequences to it. I see a lot of people complaining, dude, but very few people taking action.
Yeah.
Most people make excuses. Very few people make moves.
You know, we always think that we gotta have it all figured out. We think that we have to know the game plan before we could take a move. Life ain't like that. You know, life is more spontaneous than that. You know, life is built on curiosity. Life is built when you move towards your goals and dreams and you don't know what's going to happen, but you have enough faith to keep going. You have enough faith to make it work. You know, that's what life is built on.
My life had come to this crossroads where I'm like, man, you have to go right. And no one was going right. Everybody was going left. I'm like, you have to go right. And to know the pain and suffering I was about to endure by going right, the amount of accountability and failure I was going to witness and suffer by myself alone on this journey.
You have to fight a war against yourself. Now, it's not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life. It's hard as hell. You have to take responsibility. You have to learn new things. You have to feel uncomfortable. Good, because discomfort is how we grow. That's how we become strong.
So many lives would transform overnight if they realized my life sucks, I have nothing going for me, really means I have nothing to lose, and that makes you a very dangerous person.
And so you can flip the fact that you have nothing going for you with you have nothing to lose. And that means that you can take lots of risks very quickly and end up in the exact same position you are, which is nothing.
At some point, everything's gonna go south on you. Everything's gonna go south, and you're gonna say, this is it. This is how I end. Now you can either accept that or you can get to work. That's all it is. You just begin. You do the math, you solve one problem, then you solve the next one, and then the next. And if you solve enough problems, you get to come home.
It's from Marcus Aurelius. He said, what are you so afraid of losing when nothing in this world belongs to you? And so it's like we're here on borrowed time to acquire borrowed assets and borrowed resources. And at the end of the game, you're just gonna push your chips to the middle and somebody else is gonna take your chair. That's it, out of coins. And so it's like, we're just in the game. Like we're just here, we're renting, we're leasers, right? None of this is permanent. And so the idea that we'd fear some permanent outcome from an impermanent existence, the longer I've been in the game, the more disgusted I am by that feeling and by someone questioning that.
You are the source of your own problems. Because you are anxious and negative and narrow and seeing all the negative things, you make bad decisions. You decide not to start that business when it's actually the best thing that you could do. You decide to take that job that pays so well because you want money, but it's not a job suited to you, etc., etc. You're making bad decisions because of your attitude. If you are open and expansive, if you are not afraid of life, if you think of something as like an adventure, and if I start that business, if I write that book and it fails, so be it. I've learned something, it's fun. It's like if I cross that river, I leaped across it and I fell. Okay, I got wet, it's a little bit cold, so what? You know, ha ha ha. It made me tougher. That expansive attitude creates your circumstance. So the idea is you think that you don't have so much control over your life, but you have much more control than you think.
The fear that people have when they're starting out is that they say things like, I have nothing going for me. I have no advantages. I have nothing to my name. I have no money. I have no network. I have no resources. But using Rory Sutherland's reframing, it also means that you have nothing to lose, which makes you incredibly dangerous. And I think people wildly underestimate how many shots on goal you can take when you have nothing to lose. Whereas when someone has something to lose, they have to be more and more selective about the shots they take. And so you have the perfect conditions for taking risk because the worst case scenario is baseline, is where you're currently at. A lot of people wait for perfect conditions to start, but don't realize that starting is the perfect condition. And one of the things that took me a very long time to understand was that the things that dragged me down were not the things that I thought they were. Because the heaviest things in life aren't iron or gold, but they're unmade decisions. They're the things that weigh us down. They take up all of our attention, all of our brain power. And so right now, there's probably a handful of decisions that you know you need to make that you're just not. If you want to feel yourself go so much faster than you ever have, just decide.
This is your new life. Take it or leave it. There's no happiness about it. There's no peace behind it. It sucks. It just sucks. And that's the one thing, if I could teach anybody anything, it just sucks. And it's going to continue to suck. And then one day you'll get to a special part in your life that it might get a little bit better. But to lose the weight you have to lose, my friend, sorry, it's going to suck every fucking day.
You know, at some point you have to take personal responsibility. And it clicked. Like, yo, you got yourself here. Like, regardless of everything else, you played a role in getting yourself here. Now you got to get yourself out. And I just remember, man, saying like, yo, E, you homeless now, but this ain't the rest of your life, man. This might be the story today. This ain't how my life was going to end. I remember thinking that to myself, like, we gonna get out of here.
It's you, when all that fear that's in your head, all the what ifs and the scenarios that you create inside your own mind that are way worse than anything that is actually going to happen, they all disappear when you go. So just take action and start moving forward.
I realize you go higher, you go even more alone. Why? Because nobody is willing anymore to invest their energy in going higher, because it's becoming more difficult. They say, oh, it's already okay here. Why you still want to move up there? The air is getting thinner over there. It's getting more hard to breathe. It's getting more dangerous, whatever. So that means along this way, the higher you want to go, the more likely you're gonna walk alone. This is the next thing. In one sentence, I always remember again, along the way to mastery, you walk the way alone.
There's no hacks, bro. It's you against you. You against you. And if you misunderstand that, you have a real problem.
And I want to remind you, making no decision is a decision, because you're deciding to stay exactly where you are and ignore what your intuition is telling you. You're deciding to accept less than you deserve and delay making the changes that will bring you happiness and more satisfaction in your life. Those are decisions, and you need to wake up and recognize that you're making them. Just imagine yourself a year from now. You're in the marriage. You're in the job. You still live in the same place.
All my life, I have schedule, you know. I have rules, I have discipline. And for me, it's all about numbers, you know. I have to do most of them, like all things, like on time. Like you have to wake up on like 6, 7, you have to train. After you come home, breakfast, go school, come back, do homework, train, come back, eat, sleep, repeat. It's like this.
What I want to do is dramas, but Hollywood won't offer me no matter how big of a pay cut I take. So I said, all right, if I can't do what I want to do, I'm gonna quit doing what I've been doing. So chose to, boom, go to the ranch in Texas. Camilla's pregnant. Told my agent, no more rom-coms, Don't know how long that's gonna last. Made that decision with Camilla, and we said, look, you know, we're gonna make this decision. There's no telling how long we're gonna go without work. But if we're making the decision, like Australia, it's non-negotiable. We're not going back on it.
What have you got to lose?
Exactly. And that was it. And it was like, I have nothing to lose. And that was when I think in the last podcast we talked about this, where it's like, if everybody who's like at the bottom and feels like they have nothing going for them, reframe that as, I have nothing going for me, which also means that I have nothing to lose by taking action. It makes you a much more dangerous person.
But God said, hey, look, I'm testing you today. And I'm gonna test you tomorrow. And I'm gonna test you again. I'm gonna let you alone, man. Pray all the you want. Pray. Get on your knees, boy, pray. I'm gonna still kick your ass. So the more I realize this is my journey, and the more I realize, where's all my friends? They ain't fucking nowhere around. It was you. So you better figure out who the fuck you are on this journey. And those few people who don't, or many people don't like you, so be it. But you first have to figure out you, because a lot of people die with a lot of untapped potential because they're trying to be somebody that they're not.
Tweet, which is that the world belongs to those who can continue to work without seeing the result of their work. Continue to do without seeing the result of their doing. And it's really the person who can do that for the longest period of time. And that's usually because they're still getting leading indicators. It's just that it's amounting to a much bigger mountain. And so like if you want to do big shit, it takes a way longer period of time, because the easy shit, the little hills, everyone conquers really quickly. I'm on time. I say please and thank you. It's like, so fucking what? And so like if you want to do something that most people can't do, literally just extend the time horizon on the things that most people can't weather. Like there's so much opportunity on the other side of being willing to persist for an extended period of time on the correct path without getting positive reinforcement from your environment.
Whether you're in the first, second, or even third act, it's not over. You gotta remember, it's the way you end it. It is the way you leave people feeling about what your most recent accomplishments are. So it's never too late.
What I also love about this is if you don't like how it feels, we know you're not in the third act yet.
There you go. That's right. You're not at the end. You're not at the end. You still got more acts to go. You still got an opportunity to change and create a blockbuster life. Never too late to pivot. The power of the pivot. I'm a big believer in embracing that power. Your movie's not over. Your story is not over being told.
But risk must be taken, for the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, has nothing, does nothing, is nothing.
What I realized on my journey was a lot of us don't believe that we can achieve the impossible. You can fucking achieve the absolute impossible. You don't need great parents. You don't need like a private school. You don't need to have this humongous GPA and all this other shit. What you need is the one thing I talked about in my book, which is straight up brutal work ethic.
How do I be better than what I was? Because if I do that, ooh, fuck. For me, I just beat me.
Yeah.
This ain't about nobody else. I don't give a about nobody else. I just beat me. If I can keep beating myself, pause. If I can keep doing that, then that means that I'm in a battle with the only person that f***ing makes sense. I'm in a battle with the only person that I really want to f***ing beat, and that's me.
Nobody cares about you more than you should care about yourself. And nobody is giving you the roadmap to like the wins. You have to go find that information. You gotta go discover it. You gotta want to get it. You gotta want to do it. And with the right help, the right world of knowledge, it can better help position you. But ultimately, you gotta want to do it.
But there's a humility in determining what it is that the wretched creature that you are can actually manage. Aim low. And I don't mean don't aim, and I don't mean don't aim up. But you have to accept the fact that you can set yourself a goal that you can attain, and there's not going to be much glory in it to begin with. Because if you're not in very good shape, the goal that you could attain tomorrow isn't very glorious. But it's a hell of a lot better than nothing, and it beats the hell out of bitterness, and it's way better than blaming someone else. It's way less dangerous. And you could do it.
The man who never fail, has no glory. The man who fell and got back up, that's where his glory is. The man who fell 20 times and got up 21 times, that man has even greater glory.
Wow.
That man has more courage, way more courage than the guy who was so strong from birth that he never failed. There's no glory in that.
The life that you want is on the other side of the difficult conversations you're unprepared to have.
For me, it always comes back to perseverance, persistence, high pain tolerance, an ability to suffer through discomfort, a welcoming of doing hard things, and willingness, really. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do different? How willing are you? Are you willing to make this your number one priority? And a lot of people will put words to that, but only time will tell whether those words are followed up by the action that demonstrates the level of willingness that is required to actualize anything of meaning in this world.
Everybody has dreams.
Yeah.
Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. And it's like, because they don't think you can do nothing they can't do.
Exactly, bingo.
Right? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lonely, scary, dangerous pursuit, and you got to be willing to risk everything to become that seed of what you believe is in there. You got to be fearless, you got to be relentless.
You don't need the money until after you make the decision. Person say, I want to take a trip, and I'm going to go as soon as I get the money. You don't need the money to make the decision to take the trip. I'm going to start my own business as soon as everything's right. Things are never going to be right. You've got to make a decision. Now, you see, when you make the decision, everything starts to change.
We don't rise to the standards we have when others are watching. We fall to the standards we have when no one is watching. The only work that really matters is the work that no one sees. It shows you who you really are rather than who you say you are.
There's this line that I heard David Goggins say on Rogan, and I can't remember who he was saying it to or what he said in response to, but he just said, I'm David Goggins. I remember him saying it, and I thought to myself, like, you want to be able to say that in the mirror to yourself and not laugh at yourself. And the only way that I can do that is know that when no one's watching, I work harder than when they're watching.
I'm gonna make the smallest decision possible. I'm gonna take the smallest step possible, but I'm gonna take a step. Because I'm never gonna know everything. And if I take the time to try and know everything, everything will have changed by the time I know it. So I'm going to absolutely take that step and take that action.
When I was 300 pounds, people think, oh, you really thought you could be a Navy SEAL? No. I think I was gonna fucking lose the weight. But what it was how I was able to get over all the failure and all the embarrassment of failing was I told myself, you are gonna have to learn how to get up extremely fast because you are gonna have a million setbacks on this journey. And that's how I literally taught myself how to fail first. You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough. In life, it's never enough until you feel this overwhelming feeling of shit, man. I'm outworking the crowd. I'm outworking everybody. I'm doing more. It's not until then, once you get there, that's when you fucking know you've done enough. Stay hard.
The most important conversation is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to bed with it. Eventually, you act on it. Sometimes you act on it good, sometimes bad. You gotta change the internal dialogue. That person in your head that's talking that shit to you, until you change the internal dialogue in your head, until you callous over the victim's mentality that the world is out to get you because of you are the only, you gotta change that shit, man.
Yep. I get it from hours and hours and days and decades of being in the grind. So when my time comes, when I fail and I fail and I fail, I go back to that big ass belief that I've built myself, and I know I will fucking make it. So whatever your belief is, however you gain that belief, I gain mine by going into the damn dungeon and staying there.
People only root for people who don't need it. That's when you want people to root for you. That's when you want people to support you. Once you've already won, people are like, he's amazing, he's so good. But like, that's the time when you need it the least. And so you always have to be the person who roots for you before everyone else does. And it's usually a single clap in the auditorium for a very long period of time. It is a slow clap that's just you rooting for you. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. You have to stay in that third painful place, because staying in the pain is what gives you the catalyst to learn how to get out of pain. And so rather than trying to pull your parachute, it's like, I have to trudge through this so that it forces me to learn.
So one of the reasons why we're afraid of making decisions, especially tough decisions, right, is because whenever we make a decision, the whole idea, the whole meaning of decision in Latin is to cut away from the past. Meaning, If I decide that I want to get married, I am cutting away from being single. If I decide from having a baby and becoming a parent, I'm cutting away from sleeping 8 hours of sleep. If I make a decision to become an entrepreneur, I'm cutting away from having a 9-to-5 job security. That's why we're afraid of making tough decisions.
When I know I need to change something, what I do is I change it. That's what I do. I change it. If you have something to change, if you want to change something, change it. Change it now.
All you have control over is how you direct your attention and how you comport yourself. What are the actions that you're taking, how you're responding to the world around you. And when you drill that down into the tiniest little things that you're doing every single day and try to repeat that with just rigorous, relentless consistency, that is how you move mountains, that's how you build mountains, that's how you change your life. It fucking sucks, and I wish it wasn't that way. I didn't do them willingly. I did them because I was in so much fucking pain that I was boxed into a corner and felt like the only way out was through.
But you gain knowledge through suffering. And on the other end of suffering is a world that very few have ever seen. It's a beautiful world because that's where you find yourself. You don't find yourself in over here.
If you want revenge for the bad things that have happened in your life, start with the version of you that hasn't lived up to your potential.
So I think a lot of us have the battle of the other self that we're the lesser version of ourself that we're trying to kill every single day. And so a lot of times we have this desire to point the blame finger externally, but wherever you point the finger of blame, power follows. And so whoever I blame for the life I have is the person who I give all the power over my existence, over my circumstances. And so it hurts, but if you turn the finger inwards and you start saying, I don't like my life. The person that I need to punish or get back at is the real person who got me here, which is me.
And I remember that was one of the things, like, you're not going to break me. No matter what you say, I'll die right here in this water. I don't care. And that mindset has really been beneficial throughout the entire process. Because there's parts of BUD/S and parts of being in special operations where you think it's going to kill you. And then at a certain point, you just don't care. If it kills me, I don't care. And you get through it.
Stop waiting till you're perfect. Just start. Stop waiting to feel certain. Progress builds confidence. Stop waiting till you feel ready. Confidence comes after, not before. Stop waiting till they approve. Most people are too scared to even try. Stop waiting till you have more time. You make time for what matters. Stop waiting for it to be easy. What transforms you rarely is.
And you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna win. And that's life. Life without those challenges, it's just existence. Don't just exist, go live.
I will have to limp the last mile, even if no one's watching, because I can't let the demons in. And if I let the demons in, they'll show up in the 11th round of a championship fight when there's 50,000 people watching me in the audience. And I know deep in my self-story that I'm the type of person that quits when things get hard because I got off that treadmill at mile 9 when no one was watching.
In my mind, it wasn't hard. It wasn't gonna be hard because there was no other option. All my eggs were in this basket and I was very happy with that choice. I put every last egg in this thing. Nothing else matters but this. I promise you, I will figure it out. The only consequence is failure. By the way, not trying is failing.
Yeah, well said.
I want to make that very clear.
Well said, yeah.
Not trying is failing. There's a lot of things that people can't do simply because you've never tried to do it. And I'm not saying that you should try everything. I'm not saying that you're supposed to do everything. I'm saying that for me, when someone says something and I go, no, I never did that. I have to have a reason for why I've never done it and a justification. If you ask me something and I go, no, and you just say why, and I go, That's not good enough for me.
Yeah.
I like to have a reason why. And that's the foundation that I stand on.
The greatest of all qualities to guarantee success is the absolute willingness to go at anything and refuse to stop until you achieve it. And you know something? The statistics show that 95% of the goals that you set for yourself, you will achieve if you refuse to quit.